2 million people here in Dublin. Without further ado, right out our front window we can see a big pointy needle going 120 meters up into the Dublin sky. What does it do? Absolutely nothing. But it's called the Spire of Dublin, and it was built to commemorate the millennium in the year 2000, but in Irish we don't do schedules, so it was finished instead in 2003. Happy New Year! No wait, 3 years too late. On the right hand side, the 6-pillared building is the most important building arguably in Irish history. That's known as the GPO, or the General Post Office. And that's where the 1916 Easter Rising took place between Irish forces and British forces. We were under British rule for 700 years, so something needed to change. And 1916 was what happened. We went on to have the Irish War of Independence and then the Irish Civil War, becoming the Irish Free State in 1922 and the Republic of Ireland in 1949. So his name is Daniel O'Connell, after whom this street, O'Connell Street, is named. And he was known as the Liberator of 1829. In other words, he was an Irish politician who helped to bring about equal voting rights for the predominantly Irish Catholic population at the time. During British rule, for vast majority of that time period, we weren't allowed to speak Irish. We weren't allowed to go to colleges or schools or libraries or own land of over more than 5 acres. So Daniel was the man to put that wheel in motion. So we're crossing over the River Liffey, over onto the south side of Dublin. The River Liffey, of course, divides the north and the south side of the city. It's a little bit hard to see today because our friends in Dublin Bus are parked right beside us, but on the left-hand side, further down, is the Dublin Custom House, built between 1781 and 1791. That's where the ships coming into Dublin had to pay their taxes and customs, hence the name, the Custom House. So there's 24 bridges spanning the stone building on the corner. That's called Pierce Street, Garda Station. Garda is our police force here in Ireland, Garda Síochána, which means Guardians of the Peace. And we've had our own police force here in Ireland since 1922. It took the place of what was known as the Royal Irish. On the left-hand side, we see Trinity College, and that's established in 1592, and that's Dublin's oldest educational institution. In other words, Queen Elizabeth I. On the left-hand side, Trinity College. Established to help assist young Protestant males become educated. So if you're female and or Catholic, you're all out of luck for a while. If you're a Catholic, it wasn't until the 1700s you could come to Trinity College. If you're a female, 1904. On your left-hand side, through the big round door there, on the left, that will take you into the courtyard, which brings you into Trinity College Library, which also houses the Book of Kells. 9th century manuscripts written by Irish monks on the Scottish island of Iona. It tells the story of the 4 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, through the medium of the Latin language. And because of Vikings over in Scotland that take the book and say, quick, 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 take the book. And then they don't want to walk all the way back around. And this is our stop 2 for Nassau Street / Trinity College. Enjoy the Book of Kells, my friends. Take care. You're welcome. See you later. So we have China, we have Oklahoma, we have Germany, there's legacies. If you made it past the preface or the contents page, I give a big thumbs up to you. Well done. Oh, the kids there on the left. Ah, there we are. Next generation. So, James Joyce and Nora Barnacle met in 1904 at 60th Street train station on Weston Row in the 1840s. It went from Pierce Street down to a place called Kingstown, which is now one of our most beautiful seaside coastal villages called Dunleary. Perched on the 11 o'clock position in behind the railings of Merrion Square Park there. That sculpture dates from 1997, a man called Danny Osborne. No relation to Ozzy, I hope. And yeah. So, Oscar wrote the importance of being earnest and came out with such humdinger quotes as, if the English could talk more and the Irish could listen more, the world would be a much more civilized place, obviously. On the left-hand side there, of course, is Oscar. And it's also where you need it if you want the National Gallery of Ireland. Our museums are on the right-hand side. So this is our stop number 4. I'm just going to get you guys as close as we can, safely, of course. 1864. Monet and Picasso amongst the masterworks inside the 12,000 pieces of art. Second building on the right is Leinster House. The only stone building in Dublin where clowns are allowed to perform? Yes, that's where the Irish government sit. Third building on the right-hand side is the Museum of Ireland, opened by Dr. Livingstone in 1857, known as the Dead Zoo, because the amount of taxidermy chieftain in the Irish language. So it would be the same post that other countries would call the Prime Minister, but in Ireland we call it the Taoiseach, the chieftain of Ireland. And he's the one who calls the shots. The President of Ireland is just a ceremonial position here in Ireland. Kind of like the Queen across the road. Yeah, which is a nice world to live in. Who lived in these houses? People called the Protestant Ascendancy, who were basically British landladies and landlords, but they would have been predominantly born in Ireland and lived in Dublin, but of British stock. And they would have been sirs, madams, dukes, and that 5 acres of land that I was telling you about on O'Connell Street that the Irish could generally maintain. These people commandeered thousands of acres. So in a roundabout way, the local Irish Catholics were maintaining their politicians. But now they're privately run businesses, institutes of education. And down below ground level, you can still see there's windows down below where the steps are. That's where the chambermaids would have lived in the 1700s and 1800s. And their job was to wake up at 5 o'clock every morning and fetch fresh water for their employers in the house. And Laurel Hardy and Charlie Chaplin have all stayed in there. And it's also where the Irish Constitution was signed 100 years ago in 1922. So let's start stop number 6. Number 6, Stephen's Green.
Hiking tour. Hiking tour.
And if you want to do some retail therapy, Grafton Street is right there, 1715. Lord Mayor of Dublin's house, known as the Mansion House. Current Lord Mayor is a lady called Caroline Conroy, the 12th female Lord Mayor of Dublin. Left hand side is Café on Seine if you want to order a glass of Chardonnay and cry into your receipt. Right hand side is St. Dan's Church, where a young man called Bram Stoker was married. He was the author of Dracula, so you can blame the Irish for a really bad Halloween costume you wore when you were 7 or 8 years old, lads. Didn't exactly have a look at the Irish. He died the same week the Titanic sank. And the theatre production of Dracula, don't even go there. But lady, the reviews came here. Left hand side is St. Grafton Street, our most iconic pedestrian shopping street. You need a licence from Dublin City Council, by the way, if you want to perform anything. That's a really good thing. Some of the things I've heard on the streets of Dublin down through the years have been absolutely horrific. Left hand side, the Aaron Sweater store, if you want to empty out your bank account. Buy a big woolly jumper. Left hand side, the Irish Whiskey Museum. I don't need to explain that one. Your right hand side, Trinity College. Student body of 15,000 people. Past students include Oliver Goldsmith, Jonathan Swift, not James Joyce, who's part of UCD. On your left hand side, the windowless Bank of Ireland. The only natural light comes in through the roof. So to say that's where the phrase daylight robbery came from. In the bank as well, how appropriate. So we're going to hang it right down Fleet Street, but the other side of Fleet Street on the left contains cobblestone streets, which is an indication here in Dublin for the 19th century. On your right hand side, this big building, that was once the Central Bank of Ireland, the financial nucleus of Ireland, but now it's getting turned into a hotel. Yeah, just like Joni Mitchell, paved paradise and put up a parking lot. Exactly. So on your right hand side, all these cobblestone streets lead you down to Temple Bar. Temple Bar was earmarked for demolition in the 1980s. Dublin Bus was going to open a big garage, a big depot in here. And these beautiful buildings that we see were going to be demolished. But then, thanks to a lot of protesting from the artistic and musician-orientated community here in Dublin, which runs parallel to the river, or an avenue. So it could have been Temple Quay, Temple Avenue, and this region became known as Temple Bar. And then, of course, clever marketing. Let's open a pub called the Temple Bar. Ching! And everyone gets their selfie outside. Hashtag welcome to Ireland. But don't get too excited. See you later, my brother. Take it easy. Because Dublin Castle burnt down in 1684. There was only one remaining tower left. If you went in and the traffic lights here took a left, where the area known as Dublin Castle is located, it looks more like a Georgian red brick townhouse that we would have seen a couple of stops ago, with the courtyard in the very, very centre. But it was once the what's called the British Library, which is absolutely beautiful. Down there on your left-hand side in towards Dublin Castle. And it's also where the Irish president is inaugurated once every 7 years. Our current president is Michael D. Higgins from County Galway. Left-hand side, City Hall, which was once the Royal Exchange. If you keep looking on your left, you'll see it towards the courtyard and Lady Justice with her back turned to the street of Dame Street. The tradition in Ireland said that for many years that was the British judicial system turning their back symbolically on the rest of Ireland. Hence why Lady Justice is looking into the courtyard. If you do a turn Christchurch Cathedral on the right. Also, the largest underground crypt between Ireland and the UK is located on the right-hand side. And if you want to meet Tom and Jerry, they're due too. Two skeletal remains of a cat and a mouse who were chasing after each other and they got caught down reed organs in the medieval times are in the crypt. And it's also the location of the Dublinia exhibition, which tells the story of Viking Dublin. We became a Viking city from the year 841 AD. So Dublinia is really cool and well worth your time to check out back at Christchurch Cathedral. So welcome to the nucleus of Dublin as a city. Stop number 10, Christchurch Cathedral. Left-hand side, the National Cathedral of Ireland, the tallest cathedral also, the largest. That door back there that's painted blue, this colour blue that you see on the left-hand side is known as St. Patrick's blue. And that's the official colour of Ireland, not green. So if you see a copy of the Irish Constitution, it's bounded in the shade of St. Patrick's blue. So stop number 11. For St. Patrick's Cathedral, right alongside the very depressed looking statue of Benjamin Lee Guinness. The reason why he looks like a big hooky baby is because he's the man who had to take out the money for the reworks in the 19th century. So he's looking at the invoice saying, oh no. The oldest library in Dublin. Hodges and Figs, our oldest bookstore. Marches is our oldest library. You thought you were going to catch you out there. Kevin Street. I'm going to take a ride on Kevin Street. Kevin Street, yeah. Oh, wait, are you Kevin? No. Oh, okay. You got excited when you heard Kevin Street. I was going to say, hey, where's Kevin? So on the right-hand side, that beautiful red brick building, that's the Deanery of St. Patrick's Cathedral. So that's where the Dean of St. Patrick's would have lived for many years. Our most famous scene, cool. Is an like, yes, it is very cool. Say, can I buy you a beer? I'm like, sure, okay. It's like, why? Well, you're Irish. That's a wonderful suggestion. Okay. So people expect us, you know, to be all arms open. We are, it's wonderful. We get free beer just because we're Irish. It's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, we traveled the world. You're Irish, yes, you too, and Guinness. They're the two things that people say. Depending on the age of the person in question, they'll say Conor McGregor. But in the words of Meatloaf, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Introduction. So a minute for your tour. 89 minutes up to the gravity bar to get your point up at the gravity bar, which offers 360-degree panoramic glass view of Dublin. It's absolutely beautiful. And as I always try to say on my tours, where possible, make sure you try and book online. Whatever you do in Ireland, Dublin, whatever, you just guarantee your spot. I can guarantee you, there's a few people in that queue, it's like, hey, buy a ticket. Nope. And then, don't be those people. Book ahead. Even book in the queue. It's Tuesday. You will do it. So stall number 13. We're going to get behave yourself, huh? The exposed part of the bus. Hello, ladies. It's all good, yeah. I had a lovely time. Yeah. It was tropical. Yeah, so I've done the California Nevada road. Good fun. Okay, my friends, you're all very welcome aboard. My name is Ross. I'm from Dublin, so welcome to my home turf. How you doing? By the way, inhale. Oh, that is not toast. That's special toast for grown-ups over the age of 18. That's roasted barley. Absolutely. So Tom Cruise sounded like Popeye in distress in Far and Away. Because apparently that's how Irish people sound. Be unfaithful if you want 21 kids. Left-hand side, the original St. James's Gate entrance to the west coast takes about 2.5 hours from Dublin to Galway, from one end of the coast to the other. Right-hand side from 1701 is the St. Stephen's Hospital. But now it's known as the headquarters of the Irish Health Department, which is the Health Service Executive. So obviously a very busy building in the last 2 years. On the left-hand side, Euston Station. It's not every city in Ireland that you hit up from Euston Station. If you wanted to go from Dublin to Belfast or Dublin to Sligo on the northwest coast of Ireland, you'd be sent to Connolly Station on the north side. So it's not just bona fide everywhere in Ireland. So just keep that. Left-hand side, 1821, where that bridge is right there and subscribe. That is a bridge known now as Euston Bridge, but once known as King's Bridge because of the impending visit in 1821 of King George IV. But now, of course, it's not King's Bridge. Left-hand side, stop number 19 for Parkgate Street. So, one of the benefits of going with the big bus, when you flash your pink ticket, you go across the road to Fancy Hands. So this is the largest walled city park in Europe. 1,750 acres. This avenue called Chesterfield Avenue, that park gate that we came through, brings you down to Castleknock Gate. It's 2.5 miles long, or 4 kilometers, whatever your metrics are, whatever you prefer. Now, to put it into context, 2 Central Parks in New York will fit inside here. 6 Hyde Parks in London will fit inside here. 2 of the Principality of Monaco will fit inside here. Don't lose your phone. On the left-hand side is the 2nd largest obelisk in the world, just behind the one in Capitol Hill, Washington, D.C. This one is called the Wellington Monument, as a tribute to Arthur Wellesley, who was the Irishman who defeated Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. The bronze work at the base was made up from melted down weaponry found on the battlefield. Now, Arthur, he wasn't very proud of being Irish. How very dare he? He said something along the lines of, "This is my Irish heart," just to the left of it. We're the only country in the world to have a musical instrument as our national symbol. So when I travel the world on my passport, it's a little gold harp on the front. But get this, my friends, Guinness commandeered the harp first. So the Irish government only came to be in the 20th century, so they had to go grovelling to Guinness and say, "Hey, is it our harp you're using? Can we use it?" And they're like, "Nope." So they had to do a 180 flip. So the Irish harp on the pint of Guinness is facing the right way. On Irish government, get a job, Anna, will you? Get a job. So the reason why she's down here is because she had to be relocated from O'Connell Street for her own safety. On O'Connell Street around the corner, they used to have a water fountain, and Irish people, being the big kids we are, we used to get like bottles of washing up liquid and put them into the fountain, so it's creating a big folk party. So for her own safety, she had to be moved down there from O'Connell Street. Now, on a more somber note, on the left-hand side, that guy really shouldn't be chilling out. That's the resting place of 1,500 Irishmen who lost their lives in the 1798 Irish Rebellion against British forces. Okay. So on the right-hand side, the River Liffey, which divides the city of Dublin in two. So we're back on the north side of Dublin now. Over there, of course, the south side. Liffey comes from an old Irish word lifa, which means river of life. So one of 24 bridges that we're passing by alongside the River Liffey. The next one is the James Joyce one, this white one, constructed in 2003, named after one of our most famous laureates. You see on the left-hand side, by the way, where it says Real Nation on the 11 o'clock position, this building here. That's an insurance company. And in this gig, you get all sorts of questions. A woman turned around to me and she said, "Is this a tribute to Indigenous Civil War in any country?" Very, very tragic. We didn't celebrate it, that's for sure, but at least it was acknowledged. On the right-hand side, that boring stone building is where the largest Viking settlement outside of Scandinavia was found in the 1970s. That's where the Viking city of Dublin was. So when they were building the foundations for the civic offices here on our right-hand side of Dublin City Council, they found 200,000 Viking artifacts. 200,000. So the foundations of original Viking housing, walled city of Dublin, knives, swords, textile works, leather shoes, you name it, all found over there on the right-hand side. Confirming our status as a bona fide city of Dublin. Kids walked up to the tollmaster here on the north side and said, "Hey, mister, any charge for excess baggage?" And the tollmaster said no. So he said, cool, he put his friend up over his back. 2 over for the price of 1. The show is on. And that's all things Irish dancing. but leave it to the professionals, okay? Don't get up on the table and get notions. Stop number 24 for Masters. Yeah, so we've got one more stop, which is 25, and then we start again at 1. But the only difference is, me and John are very popular. We're going elsewhere on a different tournament. So if you want there. Not very cool in 2022, and especially in Victorian society, and you're a high-flying politician. That's your career over, sunshine. So it's built to commemorate all those who gave their lives for Irish freedom. You can see the symbolic children of Lear Swan sculpture down on the right. In 2011, Queen Elizabeth II of England visited that very park, and she laid a commemorative wreath. And at a state banquet in Dublin Castle, she opened her dinner speech with a perfect sentence in Irish. It's well worth YouTubing that to see the President of Ireland's jaw hit the soup spoon. If you told the Irish people 20 years ago even that the Queen of England was going to be opening her dinner speech in Dublin in Irish, we'd be like, what tea are you drinking? And can we have some more of that tea? It sounds amazing. So my friends,
哥来喝酒。好，走埋走，解釋。都未開門。唔係，20個店搞嘅。20個店搞嘅。Dublin 的。
到这个位置来拍。Hello， 我们现在都柏林的那个城市那个邮局的外面，然后看到那个都是弹头的孔。近一点，近一点。你可以走近一点。
它现在它动了，它不平了。
看到吗？慢点来，给它慢点 ，OK。因为呢，爱尔兰呢，因为爱尔兰之前呢是英国的殖民地，然后1921年才独立嘛。那么独立战争的时候呢，爆发之后呢，很多战争，然后这里就留下了历史的痕迹，就是这样子 ，OK， 这样子 ，OK。